Muli pong nagbabalik ang ating palatuntunan at para man sa ating mga balita, muling nagbalik sa dating Clark Air Base sa mga Amerikano, subalit iba na umano ang kanilang pakay ngayon. Sa isang 170-hectare site sa Clark Ecozone, kasalukuyan tinatayo ng kumpanyang Peregrine ang isang IT logistics hub na inaasahan dudumugin ng iba pang mga dayuhang kumpanya. Ayon kay Peregrine CEO Dennis Wright, hindi sila nagpapasindak sa umiiral na global financial crisis. Kanyang ibinunyag na ang kanilang kumpanya ay nakasandal sa matatag na capital ng mga Kuwaiti investors na nais din na makipagsapalaran sa Pilipinas. Ayon kay Wright, ang ating bansa ay magandang alternatiba sa mga tradisyonal na merkado dahil hindi ito ganap na apektado sa umiiral na global financial meltdown. Kaugnay ng balitang yan, ating mga kapanayam live dito sa ating studio, ang President and CEO ng kumpanyang Peregrine, si Mr. Dennis Wright. Mr. Wright, good morning and welcome to Money Matters.
Well, thank you. I'm very pleased to be here.
Before anything, sir, tell us something about Peregrine. What is Peregrine? What are the products that you offer? You're obviously into real estate, but in our conversation a few days ago, you're obviously into other stuff.
Well, Peregrine is a project development company, and we founded it in Kuwait with Kuwait capital. And there's a lot of liquidity in the Middle East, and the Arab investors are looking for opportunities to invest in. And so we were able to take advantage of our knowledge of operating in emerging markets and translate that with investors primarily from the Middle East into other projects. So we're into project development, design, engineering, construction, typical types of things associated with a major project development.
Mr. Wright, Clark Ecozone, or what was once known as Clark Air Base, is is sort of a, for many years, the stronghold, the center of American presence in the Philippines, and now you're coming back, but this is for other matters, and you have a 170 plus hectare site there where you are right now establishing an IT logistics hub. Is that the correct term, IT logistics hub?
I believe the actual term is aviation-oriented logistics and business operations, because take advantage of the proximity to DMIA Airport.
So basically, what is that?
Well, it's interesting. If you go back in time, civilization grew up around rivers, and they migrated to around roads and railroads and highways.
Yes.
Today, civilization tends to concentrate around the airport. And so DMIA as an aerotropolis is the emerging market and is, we believe, the hottest property market in the Philippines.
Mr. Wright, good morning. It is our pleasure to have you on Money Matters, rather. Sir, what makes the Philippines an interesting or a good investment area or country?
Well, in the Oxford report, I wrote about A Perfect Storm, the movie with George Clooney. In Perfect Storm, is the convergence of the Philippines' investment in English language over the last 5 decades to its proximity to China, which is now fastly approaching to become the #1 market in the world. It's a literal center of the crossroads of transportation and logistics. The Spanish found that 450 years ago. The Americans recognized it. And so the Philippines is really on the doorstep of the perfect storm.
How viable is it to invest in emerging economies such as the Philippines?
Well, my own perspective is I would stay away from the mature markets. The mature markets, obviously with the recession, the bubble has popped. We've seen it with the dot-com problems a decade and a half ago. We've seen it now again with the collapse of Enron and some of the other big companies, and now we see it with the world recession. The biggest return for your money is going to be in the emerging markets, and the emerging markets today are outperforming the mature markets because they have the furthest way to go.
Do you think it is easy to invest in the Philippines, or did you have a hard time investing here in our country?
Actually, I find the Philippines to be perhaps one of the easiest markets to work in.
That's good, sir.
There is a gross misunderstanding and misperception of operating in the Philippines, but everybody believes that their own markets are unique. As a company who only focuses on emerging markets, and we have done projects now in Sri Lanka, in Ghana, in the Middle East, in Iraq, that you have to know the market in that country. No different in the Philippines. But once you understand the Philippines, it's actually a very pleasant market to work in.
That's good to know, sir.
Okay. Let's talk about the real estate component of this, Mr. Wright. 174 plus hectares. That's a big chunk of land if you compare it to Hong Kong or Singapore. Not to root for our motherland, but this is a big area to develop. So what sort of logistics does it take to develop such a big area of land in such a strategic area?
Well, you're right. It is a big area, and the realization of how big it is came when we started walking the site and realized that it's larger than Fort Bonifacio. It's larger than the downtown central area of Makati. So you're right. It is quite large. In order to do a project like that, you have to bring in really world-class investors. And for this project, we're able to partner with KGL Investment Company. KGL itself is one of the leading logistics companies in the Middle East. It's out of Kuwait. So having very strong investment financing behind you is very important. To bring a development company that has the ability to develop world-class projects, and Peregrine has done that both in our existing life and our former lives. And so you have to bring all that together, but most importantly, you have to bring the knowledge of how to blend all that together into the opportunity and then promote that opportunity. We also retain Palafox, your leading architectural and A&E firm, to help with the planning and design. And it's really to surround yourself with experts.
Okay. But everyone who wants to set up a business or expand a business nowadays has to consider one thing, is the global financial meltdown. So how does that fit into the picture? A lot of, I remember about a week or two ago, there was a report that said that U.S. investments into the Philippines is seen to decline. But that's somewhat underwhelming because U.S. investments anywhere, or anyone's investments anywhere, has been on the decline the past couple of months. And here you come with something like $1 billion peso development. So isn't that a little bit risky nowadays?
Investors have become more scrutinizing in what they're going to invest in. Investors are always going to be investing, no matter in a down market or an up market. It's in the down market where they become, and they set a much higher standard for what that threshold is. You talked a lot about U.S. investors, but there are many other investors out there. For example, our investment is focused on Middle East investors. And so there are many investors from around the world, and you're seeing investors coming in from the Middle East, from India, from a large number of other areas that are not just from the U.S.
We're having technical difficulty.
All right. That's the risk of running live TV.
Yes, sir. You hail from a highly